Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at measures of central tendencies, also known as mean, median, and mode. Measures of central tendencies are basically numbers that represent the rest of the data. In the first example we have here, it says use the data to the right to find the mean, median, and mode of calories per servings of vegetables. So let's go ahead and take a look at it one at a time. We'll start off with the mean. In order to find the mean, we're basically looking for our average. In order to find the average, we need to go ahead and add up all of our numbers and divide it by however many numbers we have. In this particular case, I'll just go ahead and add up all of our calories. We have 14 plus 30 plus 20, 25, 17, 28. We'll continue on with the next column. We have 10, 17, 66, 9, 9, and 17. Once we add all of those up, we'll go ahead and divide it by however many numbers we have. And it looks like we have a total of 12 numbers. So we just go ahead and count however many vegetables we have here. We have a total of 12 numbers. So now we're just going to go ahead and do the math. And if I add all of these correctly, it turns out to be 262. So now we have 262 divided by 12. 262 divided by 12 will give us a decimal, which is 21.83, and the 3 repeats. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and round it to our nearest tenth, which will give us 21.8. So the mean in this case is 21.8 calories. Now the median represents the middle number. Now in order to find that middle number, I got to go ahead and rearrange my numbers here. And what we usually do is we put them in order from least to greatest. You could go from greatest to least, but I usually do it from least to greatest. So I'm just going to put them in order. So I got 9, 9, 10, 14, I have 3 17s, I have a 20, a 25, 28, 30, and a 66. And what I need to do is I need to go ahead and find that middle number. So what I usually do is I check off the first one and the last one, or I could cross them off. So I'm going to work my way in towards the middle. So I have the first one, the last one, first one, last one, first one, last one, first one, last one, and I keep going on until I get my middle number. And it turns out that I have 2 middle numbers here. So our 2 middle numbers, they happen to be the same, which means our median will be the same number. Now, if the numbers happen to be different, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take the average of those 2 numbers, which means I got to add the 2 numbers, and then divide it by 2, and that'll give us our median. And lastly, we need to go ahead and find the mode. And the mode is the one that appears the most often. Now I didn't cross off my numbers in the median because I can go ahead and take a look at my list of numbers because they're already in order from least to greatest, and the one that appears the most often happens to be the 17 because the 17 appeared 3 times. The 9 did appear twice, but it didn't appear the most often. So the one that appeared the most often is 17. So the mode is 17. So here we have our mean to be 21.8, our median is 17, and our mode also happens to be 17. Now we have an additional question here which asks us to determine which statistic would best represent the data. So I need to figure out if the mean, the median, or the mode would best represent the data and why. Now we have 3 choices, and we usually go with the choices in this order. We always ask ourselves, is it going to be the mean first? Because the mean would always be the best choice since that's our average. And if it's not the mean, then I would go ahead and choose the median. The median would be our second choice. And if it's not the median, then it would be the mode. Now the mode, it'll only be the mode only if the mode happens to be the median. So it usually never is the mode unless the mode happens to be the same as our median here. Now when I go ahead and check to see if it is the mean or not, I need to ask myself if there are any outliers. Now, outliers are basically extreme numbers that do not fit with the rest of the data. Now, in this particular case, I could go ahead and check to see if I have any outliers, and I do see one. If I take a look at my list from the median, since they're in order from least to greatest, I do see an outlier which happens to be 66. That 66 came from the corn. That 66 is a lot larger than the rest of our data. The rest of our data range from 9 to 30. So 66 is just way off. So it can't be the mean. So it can't be the mean because there is an outlier of 66. And what that 66 does, it takes our average, and in this case, it made the average bigger than what it should be. So it throws off our average. So now I have to choose the median, and the median happens to be 17, and the mode also happens to be 17. So the best choice in this particular case is both the median and the mode, since they happen to be the same number.